The miracle that defied death, the raising of Lazarus. Death is final. At least that's what the world believes. But in John 11, Jesus shows us that he has authority even over the grave. The story begins with a family Jesus dearly loved, Mary, Martha, and their brother Lazarus. They lived in Bethany, just a short distance from Jerusalem. Lazarus became sick, and his sisters quickly sent word to Jesus, saying, "Lord, the one you love is sick." They expected Jesus to come immediately. After all, he had healed strangers, touched lepers, and opened blind eyes. Surely, he would rush to the aid of his close friend. But to their surprise, Jesus stayed where he was for 2 more days. This delay didn't make sense to anyone, but Jesus said, "This sickness will not end in death. It is for God's glory, so that the Son of God may be glorified through it." By the time Jesus finally arrived, Lazarus had been dead for 4 days. Martha met him with pain in her voice, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." Mary came later and fell at his feet, weeping the same words. Can you feel their disappointment? They had faith in Jesus, but his timing seemed too late. And then comes the shortest verse in the Bible, Jesus wept. The Son of God, moved with compassion, stood at the grave of his friend and cried. But he didn't stop there. Jesus told Martha, "I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live, even though he dies." This wasn't just comfort, it was a declaration of divine power. When they arrived at the tomb, a cave sealed with a stone, Jesus gave a shocking command. "Take away the stone." Martha objected, "Lord, by this time there is a bad odor, for he has been dead 4 days." But Jesus replied, "Did I not tell you that if you believed, you would see the glory of God?" So they rolled away the stone. Then Jesus lifted his eyes and prayed to the Father, thanking him for hearing. And with a loud voice, he cried, "Lazarus, come forth." The crowd held their breath. And suddenly, out of the darkness, Lazarus came stumbling forward, still wrapped in grave clothes. Jesus said, "Loose him, and let him go." Death had lost its grip. Hope was restored. And many who witnessed this miracle put their faith in Jesus. Lessons for us today. 1. God's delays are not his denials. Mary and Martha thought Jesus was late, but his timing revealed a greater glory. Sometimes our prayers seem unanswered, but God may be setting the stage for a bigger miracle. 2. Jesus feels our pain. Before he raised Lazarus, he wept. He knows your struggles, and he is moved with compassion. 3. Jesus is the resurrection and the life. He didn't just perform resurrections, he is resurrection. Eternal life is found only in him. 4. Faith opens the door to God's glory. Did I not tell you that if you believed, you would see the glory of God? Faith is the key that turns despair into hope. Friend, the same voice that called Lazarus from the tomb is still calling today. Maybe you feel spiritually dead. Maybe your hope, joy, or faith feels buried. But Jesus says, "Come forth." And if he can call a dead man out of the grave after 4 days, he can raise your life, your dreams, and your soul. The question is, will you believe?